be in trouble. No, y'all think I'm joking, but I really do think we might be in trouble. I just woke up this morning to the post off of McCostume's website. Yeah, that one, the one about the tariffs. This is getting scary. Well, at least for us in the United States. Not for any of y'all outside of the US. Cosplayers outside the US might actually be perfectly fine. But the cosplayers within the United States, we might be in trouble. So let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Kuro, and I'm your cosplayer out of cosplay. And this is your cosplayer commentary. Like I said, seeing McCostume's post was kind of crazy. Basically, it's saying, tariff update. In response to the recent US tariff adjustment, we're implementing proactive solutions. 1. Immediate action plan before the 18th. All products in stock on the website maintain the current price and ship normally. Exclusive pre-tariff promotion, special sale, items added, all in stock, fast shipping. This may be our most significant promotion before tariffs hit. Then it's like 2, the long-term stability in the US. With multiple US warehouses operating for years, the entire US region is our largest overseas inventory base. Our mature system ensures that the overall situation will not change much no matter how tariffs fluctuate. Additional reassurance, Easter sale, Easter sale, swim sale, and other promotions will continue unchanged. Find links in our highlights sales. And then, of course, a really cute little meme about Sniff McCostumes. Hand over the items that you have in stock and ship quickly at your service. And then they're like really stressed out. Ah, God, I feel so bad. I know they're probably really stressed right now. I feel like a lot of people with all the things that are going on within the United States are really stressed right now. Me included. I am also stressed. Me and Ducky. Say hello, Ducky. Yeah, he's really stressed. So yeah, let's talk about that. This is actually going to be an issue. It's going to affect the cosplay community, I think, a lot more than a lot of us realize. And if you haven't realized, or if you've been underneath a rock and you live in the United States, hi, hello, welcome. Fun fact, Donald Trump is adding 125% tariffs on all purchased items that are going to be shipped in from China, which means your beautiful costumes are about to cost a lot more. It's gonna be bad. I've already started seeing skyrocketing prices on jokes already all over the internet from people talking about Nintendo Switch 2 and how the prices on Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be disgustingly a lot.
$90 for a port of Breath of the Wild, Mr. Krabs? With 4K, Squidward, with 4K.
Even jokes about like purchasing cars overseas.
I've got to do the show!
And so on and so forth. And, you know, I already knew it was going to negatively affect us in this country, but I never once in my little simple brain did I think, oh yeah, we buy cosplays and cosplays come from China. Oh no, that's not good. Over the years, I feel like the cosplay community has definitely had multiple different shifts and creations and rebirths and renaissances, if I'm being 100% honest. And I feel like what's going to happen is that the tariffs that are going to be implemented in the United States might actually cause another shift within the cosplay community. Whether that be good or bad, I have no idea. I hope maybe good, but I'm not 100% sure because, you know, finances right now are really rough and we are going through another recession. Again, in my lifetime. I'm mad just thinking about that. Yeah, we're about to go through it. And it really made me start to think about how this would affect a lot of people. Within the cosplay community, I want to say over the years since the TikTok boom of 2020, cosplay has not only become mainstream across the world, but also has become extremely accessible to a lot of people. And that accessibility has been gained through such things as purchasing materials, purchasing fabrics, purchasing wigs, including purchasing costumes. I feel like with what's happening now, that's going to negatively affect a lot of people. I feel like the growth of cosplay has definitely led to a lot of good things, from the sharing of the love of such said so hobby to the crafting and skill and ability and the craftsmanship that has been shared across the world. I've seen so many creative people on the platform being able to share their skills, what they like, what they don't like, their favorite materials, and then those favorite materials then being more accessible because so many people purchased it. And I worry that because the add-on of this tariff, that the things that people were able to have as an easy accessibility is no longer going to be there. Definitely after looking up information on Google, peace out to your girl Google, there's not anything really specific on this research, but basically it says it's impossible to provide an exact number of costumes purchased since TikTok boom. However, we can analyze the spending on costumes, which has steadily increased, particularly during the pandemic and after. In 2023, spending on Halloween costumes reached $4.1 billion, up to 13.9% year over year, according to Capital One Shopping. It says pre-TikTok boom in 2019, total expenditure on Halloween costumes was $3.2 billion. During the pandemic, it went up to $3.3 billion. Post-pandemic, spending has also gone up to $3.6 billion in 2022. As it obviously, I'm not going to say this exact because I don't have exact proof or percentages, but from just reading that alone, you can kind of tell that definitely after the pandemic, people got really into costumes. Why? I want to say cosplay. I'm going to blame it on cosplay. Fight me. The thing is, though, is that this boom was only able to happen because costumes and cosplay has become easily accessible to a lot of people, so people are able to purchase more. But now that we're about to have this 125% tariff, that price is about to go up. So it's pretty obvious to say that cosplay has definitely, because of TikTok, has gained a lot of momentum. And you see, I don't know whether to say this is a good thing or a bad thing, like I said before. The reason why I say good and bad is because bad being accessibility. I feel like we're no longer going to have the ability to purchase materials and things such as costumes from places like McCostumes that, maybe you don't know how to work certain materials like spandex, but you would like to wear cosplay that has spandex in it, you can get that online. And also for people that, let's say, are baby cosplayers and don't really know how to sew anything yet or how to make anything from scratch, they themselves also would like to purchase things online. I know for me, I've purchased a couple costumes and I've altered them. Instead of having to make an entire costume from scratch, I only had to alter a little bit, and that still gave me the ability to alter it and sew what I need to sew on, which gave me like that oomph, that like growth of learning how to sew, with also the satisfaction of knowing that I will like the way I look in my costume without the disappointment of I don't know how to sew that great yet. I'm worried that a lot of younger cosplayers will have a lot more struggles because they won't be able to financially afford to purchase these sets of costumes. And I know, I get it. I can hear some of you now going, well, cosplay is a hobby. It's not a need, it's a want. And if you can't afford it, then don't do it. I get that. But also at the same time, I will say for me at a young age when I was in college, because I feel like that's where a lot of young cosplayers come from, high school and college, it still was a beautiful experience in camaraderie and community that I got to experience by partaking and participating in cosplay and hanging out with friends and hanging out and meeting new people through cosplay. And I'm not saying that they won't be able to do that, but I do feel like doing those things might be a little bit harder if people can't afford to purchase sets of cosplays. Now, mind you, again, for the flip side on this note, I do think, don't get mad at me, I do think this is also possibly a good thing, or maybe an outlook on something different. My perspective on this is that outside of the crazy purchasing and the tariffs and all those things, I also have to admit that, well, fast fashion has been an issue for a while. Not only for our environment, but for, I feel like, the cosplay community as a side note, because of the fact that so many people purchase cosplays. Like, isn't it funny how it flips on the other end? I'm not saying that this is anything easy, and I'm not saying that I'm not also part of the problem. But it's known that, like, people will purchase costumes and only wear them once, or purchase a cosplay and only wear it for a second, to then create such things as content and then never wear it again, and then it gets thrown away or put in a landfill or, sitting in their closet forever. And it could be a kind of a means to a waste of material and resources. And it's really concerning because it is something that has grown, and I'm wondering if these tariffs actually might help stop that growth. Let me explain. So when it comes to fast fashion, there's several issues. There's so much that goes into producing these materials and fabrics, but there's such little quality that goes within it that it causes this stupendous amount of not only waste, but fake plastics, polyurethanes, the shiny stuff. All of those materials are, it's not good for our environment, and it's also not good for the industry of fashion as a whole. I feel like a lot of creatives and artists and young people within the fashion community can definitely tell it better than I can on how companies such as Temu, Alibaba, AliExpress, Taobao, those companies where they were not only using fast fashion as a way to create as much fabric and fashion as possible, but also kind of adding on top of that a large amount of waste and theft. I've seen it a couple of times already on the internet where cosplayers have had their cosplays and costumes and content sold and repurposed for profit by other companies.
So I want to show you guys my cosplay that I designed. It's like supposed to be a symbiote takeover inspired suit. I drew the suit in programs like Photoshop and Procreate. You can see all my layers. Look at them all. But recently I noticed this suit has been like distributed everywhere. And when I made one suit and I uploaded it to a website that doesn't even exist anymore, and they printed it onto the fabric for me and sent it to me, and then I like did all the cool stuff. But recently I found it on like a million websites, and I don't own the character, but I just am like blown away because I've seen so many chicks rocking my suit recently, which they look amazing, just saying. But I just wanted to share, like, hey, check out my suit. It's everywhere. And I didn't mean it to be. But I did make it in like multiple flesh tones, and I'm a little annoyed that they have only stole the fair.
Within the cosplay community, this has been a growing issue for a while, and there have been no such regulations because no one really has time. They just put out their creativity to the world, and instead of it being enjoyed and loved, which it was, or is, it was also being stolen. As much as I'm also worried about 125% tariffs being added, I'm also kind of a little, again, I feared to say this, but a little relieved that hopefully because of that, it might actually stop these companies from jumping as fast as they are onto stealing cosplay designs from cosplayers to then pump out as much content as they can. That hopefully can be stopped or put a stop to it, or some sort of regulation, or people may actually be a little bit more reserved to how much they're going to spend their money and their dollar on cosplays and focus on something that they really, 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 really care about, and not something that's just for the heck of it because it's a trend at that moment. Which comes to another part of my, I won't say argument, but another part of the topic of this video, which is one thing also I have noticed over time, and I won't say who or what, ain't no specifics, but if you know, you know. We have had an issue within the cosplay community where there are, I want to say people that aren't cosplayers. Is that bad? Is that bad that I'm saying this? When I say people that aren't cosplayers, everybody and anybody can be a cosplayer. But I do start to feel like we are starting to see types of people that don't actually care for the community of cosplay. They are, strangely enough, they are cosplaying cosplayers. They're just putting on the facade of enjoying cosplay for the content. And they're more TikTokers or content creators that are getting clout because they know people within the anime, manga, and cosplay community will support them and love them. But they actually don't care for the craft itself or for the community or for the people around. They just care for the fame and content. Again, if you know, you know. So I'm wondering if that will also kind of, I don't want to say push away, but kind of repel people of that nature that want to use cosplay for clout will then have they will have a hard time spending as much money on something that they probably just do not care as much for. Time to access it as many costumes for that type of clout because of these tariffs. Now again, like I said, it's not going to justify or make anything good. You know, like I said, I'm really worried about a lot of things happening, and the finances will definitely be a struggle. Cosplay is already a very expensive hobby to begin with. It's already something that not everybody is a professional cosplayer. There's actually a very small percentage. SarahSpaceman, I will put a link somewhere here, made a video about how many cosplayers actually make money from cosplay, and the percentage is very low. So it worries me that we are going into this new era, whether we want to or not, within the cosplay community that will be changed because of said so tariffs. So I hope things are becoming easier. Maybe, you know, this will give people an incentive to start, you know, getting a little bit more creative on how they craft their cosplays or how they get into their cosplays. I will definitely drop another video hopefully soon about maybe, you know, explain to people how to, or giving some tips on how to thrift materials to then be able to make cosplays and costumes. But for now, this is my hot take for today. This is my cosplay commentary. If you like what I've said and you agree with it, don't be afraid to like the video. And if you don't be afraid to also like the video. And if you don't like I said, let me know in the comment section down below and tell me your thoughts on the tariffs that are being added to the cosplay community. I am really worried. But at the end of the day, whether or not, I know cosplay will prevail, and I hope with that a new form of creativity will roll out in different ways for people to be able to express themselves. And I hope that's what you involved in it too, sis. Anywho, have yourself a wonderful day and thank you so much for watching my video. Bye!